Hi, and welcome back to Boatery Diaries. And first of all, I'd like to say a great big thank you to all my new subscribers. And thanks for the likes and the views. It's really great. At this time of year, gardeners and allotment holders are adding compost, manure and fertilizer to their veg beds, topping them up to feed the soil and enrich the growing of their plants and vegetables throughout the season. Whether shop bought or homemade, I've never really questioned what the difference is between compost, manure and fertilizer. So I thought I'd look a little bit more into this. So having looked into compost a bit more, it seems it's made up of two main ingredients, and this is carbon and nitrogen. And put a little bit more simply, that's brown waste and green waste. So brown waste consists of things like small twigs, stalks, old vines, newspapers, brown leaves, woody bits and pieces. And green waste includes things like your scraps from your kitchen, your grass cuttings, your green waste from your gardens and veg beds. You can throw your tea bags in there as well. Although we've got our own compost heap and we're making compost down at the allotment now, we still don't seem to have enough compost to meet our needs. So we still have to buy some. This year, like everything else, the price of compost has gone up. If you look at this photo, the bag on the right is from last year and you got 3 for £12. That's 150 litres. This year, you only get 40 litres per bag, so you're 30 litres short for the same price. And yes, we did leave the bags in the van for over a year, but we have used them for taking things down the tip, like rubble and other garden waste. So we do try and reuse everything. So this is our compost bin that we've had for a few years since we moved in here. I mean, this is as basic as it gets. It's the corner of our garden. This is just a couple of pallets that have now rotted down, probably need replacing, but they're not even doing anything. We're just literally heaping up the garden waste in the corner. This pile here has probably been built up over about the last year or so. It's a mixture of grass cuttings, trimmings off of our plants and bushes, and just leaves that we've picked up off the garden and raked in. There's also some vegetables that have not grown, not developed, whatever, died in their plot, and we've just dug them up and chucked them in here. So it's just garden rubbish. So I'm just going to show you if I can dig it a bit. There's still quite a lot to do in this actually. It's not had any accelerator in it or anything to speed it up. So this is natural. So you end up with like the big lumps and bumps that really need to compost down, rot away a little bit more. So I'll probably just chuck them back in and let that carry on. And you're left with just a tiny little crumbly compost. It's not smelly. It's obviously wet today, but it's normally dry. That'll be fine. You can add that to your garden. It's full of nutrients. It's got everything back in there that the plants will need. So that's our compost. We've done that in about a year. So we talked about brown and green waste. This is green waste. It's what we had in our stew last night. Carrots, swede. There is a little bit of onion in there. And some potato peelings. So that's uncooked, so I'm going to just chuck that in what we put all our kitchen waste in. And this is just a sealed old bin, and this is full of worms. Every time we dig up worms or turn the veg beds, get a handful of worms, chuck it in there. So it's breaking it down quite nicely. I don't know if you can have a look and just see that around. So again, our stew. This is the cooked stew. We did have beef in it, but we ate all the beef and we're just left with the leftover bit of vegetables. Some people say don't put cooked food in, but it all rots down and it'll disappear. So we're just going to chuck that in. And then if you just turn it over, turn your compost over and tuck it under, that helps keep the rats away and stops it smelling as it rots down. Another good source of carbon is cooled wood ash from either your log burners or the burny bin that you've burnt rubbish down at the allotments. And it appears that you need one more ingredient, and that is heat, to make it actually work and to make it actually compost down. So by adding the carbon and the nitrogen waste and mixing it together, by occasionally turning your compost heap, you're actually creating a chemical reaction which warms the waste and creates heat and then breaks it down into what we know as compost. You stuck? Come on. Good boy. Good boy. So most of us know what manure is. It's basically animal poo, usually from agricultural animals like horses, cows, pigs, and poultry, chickens and ducks. This is some pig manure that we've got from a lady off of a local social media site for free, so that's good. So this pig manure is obviously manure, but it's also got some bedding in it as well. It'll have some of the animal's urine in there, which acts as a natural accelerator to help compost it down. I'm not worried about the straw as well being in there, so it's all natural compost. Just a piece of advice, it's not acceptable to really use domestic pets such as dogs and cats' feces. They have pathogens in them that can be passed through and can make you very sick. So horse manure is very popular as well, and you can get your manure straight from the farmyard usually, or off of, as we did, off of the local websites. Buyer beware though, you really want to know where you're getting your compost from and what the animals may have been grazing on, because if the ground has been treated with chemicals or weed killers, some of them don't break down and can pass through the animal into the manure, which will go into your soil and into your plants as well. So just be aware of that. Fresh manure is too rich to put straight onto the soil or onto the plants. It would probably burn their roots. This is why we have to let it sit and compost for a few weeks to months. This compost we've had in these bags here for about a month or so now, so they've already started to really start to go mushy and compost down quite nicely. We're going to dig this into the veg bed here and leave that again dug in probably for at least another month. It's May, so it's April the 7th now, so mid-May we hope to start planting some sweet corn out into these and other things into this bed. So this is an old bathtub that we pulled out of our bathroom when we were renovating, and it's full of a few bags of pig manure, and then John just put a layer of topsoil on the top as well. So this was filled about 6 months ago, and if you dig down you can see how the pig manure has really just sort of crumbled. It's not slushy or smelly, or it doesn't look like poo, it just looks like topsoil really mixed in, so that's great. So that's been there for about 6 months, I'd say. And so this bed with the manure and that is like a raised bed, so we're going to experiment a little bit this year, and we're going to put squash in here. It's a lovely sunny spot here, and hopefully they'll just trail and we can support the tendrils as they grow. So lastly we come to fertilizers. These are another form of soil enhancers. You can get natural or man-made synthetic fertilizers. The shop-bought ones have the NPK percentages written on them. NPK is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium levels. Mostly you can use these for general purpose, but some are more plant specific, such as the tomato feeds, etc. Shop-bought fertilizers can come in granule form, liquid form, powder form. If you're lucky enough to have comfrey plants on your allotment or in your garden, you can make natural fertilizer by extracting the leaves from the plant and putting them into water in a sealed container. Keep them out of sunlight for a few weeks and then they will compost down almost, and the liquid that you can drain off of this is your natural free liquid fertilizer. We made some comfrey fertilizer last year and I'll hopefully be doing a video about how to make some again this year. So there you are, a little bit of information about compost, fertilizer and manure. We'll leave it there with this lovely picture of comfrey. I hope you're enjoying your allotments as much as we are, and thanks again for the likes and views and the subscribers. See you again soon.